Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ankur Agrawal, and I am a part of the EduShastra education. And I am having approximately 17 plus years of work experience for mentoring and guiding the student for their higher qualification. Good afternoon, Shia. Good afternoon, Vipul sir. Good afternoon, Christian sir.
I am Vipul. I am one of the director here and spent around 17 to 18 years into corporate fields, teaching and doing many of the roles in corporate, whether it was operations, whether it was category management, whether it was sales. So I have a knack of doing everything. And right now I'm into the management side. So I'm basically managing EduShastra in a way. Okay. So Mr. Krishnan.
Hi, my name is Krishan Gupta. I've been teaching students for the last 3 years for CAT and GMAT, and I'll be taking the mock interviews as well.
Hello, Shia. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Ankur.
So, Shia, tell me something about yourself. Just introduce yourself to us.
Okay, so my name is Shreya. I was born in Haridwar and I've been brought up in my schooling in Greater Noida, NCR. I did my BTech from Bennett University. I'm a computer science undergraduate. Currently, I'm working in Hair Technologies. It's an MNC which works with dealing Maps and location services to another companies. I've often my manager has often told me that I am the fastest learning fresher she has ever worked with. My interest towards management increased during my college years, where I got the opportunity to work as a core team member of the entrepreneurship cell in my university, where we interacted with a lot of entrepreneurs and arranged 50 rupees ventures, flea markets, and a lot of events. This further motivated me to try some more leadership roles. So I joined sports committee, where I was also the lead organizer of the sports event the first BU Sports Fest that we organized over there. It had a footfall of over 1,500 students. Uh, so that's where my interest towards management further increased. Other and eventually, recently we organized one event with the Greater Noida Mini Authority, where a lot of old people and it was an initiative, a pink marathon, where a lot of old people and young children were motivated to run for the authority. So we organized that event with the authority. Other than that, in my free time, I like to read, paint, go on long walks, watch shows. On some weekends, I try to help some underprivileged kids in my locality with problems they have in their in technical skills, or if they have some problem, if they are not able to understand something in school, I try to help them out. Oh yeah, so I think
Okay.
that's about it.
Shreya, just elaborate your internship and projects which you have done during your graduation.
So during my graduation, I did two internships. One was in Zen.ai, where I worked as a data analyst intern, and the other one was in To the New
Okay.
Private Limited, where I worked as a security engineer or a quality trainee. So in the first internship where I was data analyst, so what we did was we did a comparative study between two types of data set. It is a typical machine learning problem where we tried exploring time forecasting models for two different types of data set. The data set was taken from Kaggle. One of the data set had only two columns, but it had 4.5 million rows, and the other data set was also from Uber bike data set, and it had seven columns and 17,000 rows. So the main purpose of the experiment was to find out that how the main time series forecasting models work upon different types of data sets which have different columns and different variables to different feature
Okay.
variables. Yeah. So it was an analytic study. We found out that even though time forecasting models are made for specifically these sort of problems, but ANN models work better in both the cases where the data was large and the columns were less, and on the cases where the data was small but the columns were a lot. So
Okay.
that was our base.
What are the front end and back end tools for this share for making these projects?
Basically, what we did was that was an analytic study, so we did not use any front end. We worked on
Okay.
Python Jupyter Notebooks. Jupyter
Okay.
Notebooks itself is a sort of interactive platform for using Python where we can show visualizations and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was basically a comparative study. So we only use Jupyter Notebook and a lot of machine learning frameworks like TensorFlow, Keras, and all of that.
And what are the softwares you were using to store the data, the DBMS?
The DBMS, that was basically, it was a Kaggle dataset, so it was only available in Excel format. So that's what we used. We're not really using SQL for this particular project.
Okay, right. Okay, Vipul sir, please, over to you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about data because you started with the data. You are good in data analytics. I can understand that. Let's say there is a very simple case, a study. Let's say in your office, there are 1,000 people. Okay. And we're talking about you are the person who is in charge. And let's say we are talking about a simple case of having a tea or a coffee vending machine. Okay. Now, out of the 100 people in the population, that is a total office, you are the person who decides tea or coffee. We should have a tea vending machine or a coffee vending machine. The sample size is 50. The sample size is your flow, which is 50 people. Okay, just tell me if you are good in statistical analytics, what are the steps you will take with the sample size of 50 and talking about a population of 100, how you will implement each and every step and how you will decide whether we should go for a tea vending machine or a coffee vending machine.
All right. Although I'm a Java developer, but I have worked on data analytics, so I'll try to answer this. When you say the sample is 50, I'm going to take it as a testing data set that we use in typical machine learning problems. So if we have a sample data set of 50 people, we will take a note of their preferences. If I have to choose a statistical tool, I would choose median because median gives a better idea that if we like, actually, if there's only two preferences, coffee or tea, then we can just take a simple poll that which one is preferred.
Correct.
And on the basis of that, if like I suppose we cannot change the sample number of people. It has to be same 50 people.
Correct. It's your flow. It's your flow people, 50 odd people.
Yeah. So
sample is 50.
Yeah, so as per my understanding, what you mean by sample errors, we know the preferences of 50 people at hand.
Correct.
Okay. So because there are only two, we can just check from the particular sample that whichever is the majority, we will try to implement that because that's the only data we have.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's a very, I was not expecting such an answer actually. Yes.
So Shreya, just one query from this. As you were talking about, you will be using median in this case. So tell me one thing, the median will be a better measurement or the mode will be a better measurement in this?
Actually, I got a little confused because I started it with machine learning. So I usually in machine learning, we use median instead of mode. But then I realized there are only two problems and there's no point of using all of that. We can just choose, we can just take a poll and select mode. Mode will make more sense because mode is the maximum number of frequencies of coffee. Yes.
Right. Yes, sir, please.
Okay. Okay. See, in data analytics, simple statistics even. The first thing which comes, let's say if I have a sample of 50 and a population of 100, the first question, logically speaking, is how you will prove that that sample is a true representation of your population. That's the first point. See that 50 odd people can be an aberrations, can be of the some kind of a skewed group of the population, isn't it? Let's say Shreya is in a flow which has more freshers, just completed their graduation, all the freshers are into first flow. And now there are 100 odd people, let's say the mean age of that odd population of 100,000 people is 50. The freshers age, let's say, is an average of 25. Now the first question, logically speaking or rationally speaking, is how that sample becomes a true representation of the entire population.
Yeah, actually, that makes sense. What is the question here? Should I check how can I try? How can I check its feasibility, or you would?
No, see, actually, how the question stems out. Let me tell you why the question I asked this question. You have a bachelor's in computers.
Yes.
You are going for an MBA.
Yes.
Do you know from a product you're moving to management? Right now, you're a product person. Okay, industry will see you as a person who handles computers, cannot be asked any management questions, cannot handle a team, cannot even be given any management or organizational things. Now, as you are moving into a management field, which is much more logical and a rational atmosphere, now the question comes the logic.
Yes.
So my point is, when you look into a data and all, does anyone tell you that when you're looking at a sample data, whether it is Ola data or Uber, whatever the data might be, it is always a sample.
Yes.
You can never have a population. And when you talk about the forecasting models in which you talked about, it is the forecasting models are totally based upon your population dynamics, your sample dynamics, and that sample dynamics, the first point to be done in that is make that sample or prove that sample is a true representation of the population, and that is done through some test. I was actually wanted you to come to that test. I have a data of 50 people, let's say binary 0 and 1. 0 stands for tea, 1 stands for coffee. I have 50 odd people all talking about to have a coffee. Now the question is, should I implement that data based upon a skewed sample, which is an age group of mean of 25 compared to the mean age of the population, which is 50? Now the first question is, how will I prove that sample? So let's move to the second. I know I think you can't answer this question. Am I correct?
Like I am getting an idea because if the mode of checking it would be like when you told me we have sample, I did not really think of the age factor there. So I think one way could be to find out key what is if we have all sort of age group in this particular sample data, and when we know that this separate like if we just consider there are two different categories of two different age groups, freshers are the ones who have been working for a while. So if there's a balanced data set of these two types of people, then maybe we can go ahead with the
We can't.
by implementing this on a.
We cannot. No. You took it in a totally different way. Age I gave as an example. Not only age can change things. Let's say I'm talking about veg food or a non-veg food. Can age define it?
No.
Why MBA? Why? How does the MBA fits into your total, I think, objectives, maybe short or long-term goals? How does the MBA fit into it?
I think you pretty much gave an idea that why I need an MBA. So basically, coming from a technical background, now when I work in an organization, now when I see things, I'm basically able to contribute to the technical part of it. So I want to widen my area of contribution. I aspire to work in high-level management in the company where decision making and risk taking is of more complex nature. And MBA will help me to acquire the skills and understand the interdependencies of various verticals like marketing, finance, human resource, logistics, stats, and a holistic overview that how things work in an company or in a big organization. So MBA has a unique program which through which it provides business theory, through which we are able to understand business theories, principles, practices that are followed all throughout the globe through case studies and the unique peer learning program that it offers because of the diverse nature of students that are enrolled in the program. So I feel like MBA might be a very will be a rich experience for me to ultimately become capable enough to contribute to the profits and overall growth of the company. And so I have a goal of featuring in the Forbes list and creating one of the largest philanthropic foundation. And I strongly believe that MBA might be a strong turn point for me to achieve that vision of mine. So that's why I want to do MBA.
Okay, I'll come back to the long and short term goals. Okay, uh, uh, let me. Uh, I think after why MBA, the logical question is why you? Why you should be chosen? Let's say there are thousands of applications, and we have to choose 10 people out of 1,000. Why you should be taken into it?
I if you have, as you might have already been familiar with my record, I have always been a keen. I have always had keen interest in knowledge. I have always been one of in top 5 to 10 scorers throughout my academic years. So I will bring in. Uh, I strive my best to work in the best, like whatever environment that I have given. I try my best to utilize those facilities. Other than that, I since I come from a technical background, there are people from various fields. I can help my peers in helping in the technical fields, because right now, even in management, if you choose business analytics or consulting, we need a lot of technical statistics tools that I might help my peers with. Other than that, I feel like I'm a very honest person. In general, I am very empathetic, and that might also help my peers. And when it comes to uh, sharing knowledge or my opinions, I have worked in corporate for a while, so I know how a product or how a product is seen by people who are working as a technical engineers, and how it is seen by people who are actually managers. What is their view? Because right now, when we develop a project, we only focus on how to improve this project, but as a manager, she has to focus on the deliveries of the product and how each and every individual grows. So I have that experience with me, so that I can help cater with all my peers and my surroundings.
Okay. If I say product person sees product as a lifeless thing, but a brand person or a management person usually sees a product as a personality, as a human being, as a person which is living. Am I correct?
Yes, I think we can say that.
Okay. So I'll come back. I think we'll have one more round. I think Mr. Krishna will start now.
So Shreya, as you said that you are a Java developer, right?
Yes.
So why Java is an object-oriented programming? If you talk about object-oriented programming for that.
Basically, object-oriented programming consists of 4 or 5 main features. It has classes, which is the basic. It has object, which is the most basic type of. It's a most basic entity that is used for any programming language. Then it is a class, which is basically a blueprint of all the languages, and it has mainly 4 features. First one is inheritance, through which we can use the features of one class into another, and we don't have to recreate everything. The second one will be polymorphism, through which if we have used a particular class or method somewhere, we can change it a little bit and we can use it somewhere else. And the third one would be abstraction, where if we are using a particular functionality of a program, we don't have to make, like, not every other program needs to know what is there in that particular program. So it is abstraction that if I take example in a general sense, that if we are driving a car, we don't really need to know that how exactly the machine or the engine is working. So that comes in abstraction. And the fourth one, the final one, is encapsulation, where we can say that Java Bean itself is an encapsulation, where we know that a particular program is working, and one whole project is very different and very separate from the other one. So that's why these are the main 4 features of object-oriented programming, and Java follows all of that. So we call it an OOPS language.
So C++, if you talk about that, is also an object-oriented programming, right?
Yes.
Like that is also an object programming. So what is the difference between C++ and Java if we talk about in the terms of OOPS?
It's not like it has a lot of difference, but when it comes to inheritance, there are some features. Like in inheritance, we can only inherit from one class in Java. If we have to if we have to inherit from some other interface, we use interfaces we can implement multiple interfaces, but we cannot inherit from multiple classes. In C, we have that option. It allows us to inherit from different classes. So that is the main feature when it comes while comparing with OOPS language, Java and C++ or C.
Okay. Okay. Let's come to the data analysis part. Like if you talk about, you have worked as a data analyst. So what is data cleaning?
In data cleaning, what we do is mainly, for example, when we have data, it's in a very raw form. Sometimes the data, they are blank values. Sometimes the data has a lot of arbitrary points which we don't really consider, which is mostly an outlier. It does not affect the majority of the data. Then there are some problems where if maybe a random wrong word is filled in the data, which suppose it is about ages and someone has filled an alphabet, so that is the wrong data. So in data cleaning, what we do is we process the data in a way that becomes usable for us. For example, if there's a blank space, we use some sort of statistical tools, or we usually use a null value or we use a median value, so that it won't affect the overall data. Other than that, if there's as I said, if it's wrong data, we try to clear it out and rather put it on an average value over there. And yeah, so for and sometimes the data is very redundant. Redundant data adds no value to the project, and it adds, in fact, because of that, the our final project has some irregularities, because it might show that like multiple values of same data does not add value. It duplicates the same value, so it does not give us right results.
Okay. What is a linked list?
Linked list is basically a type of data structure where one entity has the node and the value. So every node is connected to the other one. Every value is pointing to the next node, and so on. So yeah.
Okay. Ankur sir, please.
Okay. Hi, Shreya. Hello. So, Shreya, in your introduction, initially you were talking about that you are having a reading habit of reading, and in a free time you read books, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so what kind of books you are reading? Any recent book which you have read?
Usually, I prefer reading fictional novels because I read only out of joy.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, I have been reading a book called Make Time: How to Use Your Time More Efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a book by Jake Knapp. These are
Mm-hmm.
former Google engineers. They are still working as Google engineers, and they just tell you they have been experimenting with a lot of things. That the book basically is how to make time for something that you value every day. So the book talks about how that person feels that even though he has worked a lot in past 2 3 years, but if he looks back, he does not think that he has if he does not have any highlights of the day, that this I have done, if he's only worked and so on. So that book talks about how you can make time so that you have one highlight every day. It has a lot of ways that how you can switch off a notification. It gives puts forward a lot of experiment that he has done, and he asks the users to we can experiment whichever works the best for you. So it's about that. The book has some animations. I really find it enjoyable.
So, sure, you were talking about just like a time. So, suppose if I say there is a 1 hour extra in your everyday, like normally we are having a 24 hours, but I say you are having a 25 hours every day, right? So, how will you utilize this extra 1 hour which you are getting on an everyday basis?
Uh, Right now, I think if I could, I feel like the best investment is, the investment in yourself. So I will
Mhm.
try. I, I have, if possible, I would try to learn everything. So I would invest that time in learning something new. It does not have to always have to be very productive. Some few days back, I picked up knitting just to try how it goes on. Then even if I watch shows, my hands could keep moving, and I can try that. So
Okay.
I think so far, if I don't have anything specific in mind, I'll use it only to read random things and on self investment basically.
Yes, Vipul sir, please.
Even I would like to answer the same question, which I think you asked Shreya, and I
Yes,
am
sir.
Shreya. Okay, I'll
Okay.
answer the question.
Sure.
If I'll get one more, I'll read the book, how to use that one. Okay, okay, Shreya, how is today's stock market doing?
I'm not very thorough with the stock market, but I know SBI IPO is gonna go out. So I'm not very
Okay,
thorough with the stock market.
okay. See, management will have, all the business schools will have talk about economics, stock, how the things are shaping up. Okay, I think you must be not knowing what is the difference between FDI and FII.
No, not exactly. I'm not familiar with
Okay.
finance terms.
Total economics, finance, we shouldn't be asking any questions in that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not my forte. I have basic knowledge of what is happening, but
Okay.
it's not really my
You are moving into that field actually. This whole thing, what is happening, this whole interview process, you are trying to move into money matters, stock, IPOs, uh, how the economy is doing, how the global markets are moving. We should be, as a product manager, I'm not talking about a marketing manager, even a product manager has to tell that should I put this product into these markets, will it do well, not do well. Okay, let me think about something in which you feel comfortable. Okay. Um, okay. Okay. Um, um, you were talking about the long and the short term goals of yours. I was not very getting the clarity in that. Just the same question. Define what Shreya would be doing 5 years down the line and 25 years down the line.
um, 5 years down the line. I see myself in some a higher management position at some MNC where I have created some sort of niche for myself that I have speciality in this and that I have been doing well in like if there's something wrong in people will try to contact me and I might solve the problem. So I'm looking forward to that kind of niche in 5 years down the line. Uh, when it comes to 25 years, I see myself that I must be there must be one or two startups or business that I might have done, or I'm a like
Someone
CEO or
will give
I
the
put
startups to you.
no. I would have I would have started some sort of new business. I
Okay.
would have one NGO or one social impact group. Some companies going on which is working through which like most probably what I the ideal case for me would be that I have some businesses going on. I don't have to worry about how the finances are going. I will focus more of my time on those social group that I have been working on, like how to solve this particular problem in rural area and how can invest over there. My intention would be switch from technical, like all those things. That there I would only have a board of. I might just be a board member over there, but somebody else might be handling it, and my main focus would be on the social impact group that I would be having on my side. That is my
Okay.
ideal case. Yeah.
Just putting an analogy to whatever you said. 5 years down the line, I'll be 30-year-old, and 25 years down the line, I'll be 45-year-old. This is the same kind of an answer you've given. Okay, let me put some other question. Uh, uh, what are your weaknesses? How let's say if the people close to you are describing you, what are the 3 words they would use? 3 adjectives.
In terms of my weakness,
Correct.
when it comes that I sometimes take things a little too seriously. Uh, like some things does not require that much focus because like I tend to spend more time a lot more thinking on process which is not the which might not be the crude requirement of it. Like if the requirement satisfies at A, I might try my best to do it till B, which even though that lies in the timeline, but it affects my personal schedule at some level because uh, it's my knack to make it to perfection. So that would be one.
So what was the one word?
It might be um, over. I don't know. Try to
Perfectionist.
perfectionist. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That I try to be a perfectionist. But
Perfectionist.
yeah.
Okay, what is the second word?
Mm,
Overthinker.
I'm not exactly an overthinker. When it comes to in general terms, I'm not
You're
an
thinking,
overthinker.
you're overthinking right now, and that's why it's that.
uh, yeah, maybe I don't know. I've
Okay.
there are not
Uh,
much things that yeah, I'm not like exactly a lot into fitness. Maybe that.
as per like your resume, sure, you have written that you have a say top qualities, top skills as first is the leadership.
Correct.
Uh, if- where
This
it
this
is,
is written in your resume.
She's
I
asking where it is written.
yeah, because I've actually not sent. I sent two resumes. That was not that resume I used to send.
It came in the newspaper about you. They talked about Shreya and that they said leadership is the point number one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
So, Shreya, if I talk about one project of yours, which was on stock live prediction, right?
Yes.
Which was, I think, most of the recent projects which you have done. So, can you just tell us about that, some of the things about it?
Yeah. So basically, in that project, what we did was it was my capstone project. So it was an analysis of how we measure things. Usually, the current stock market analysis tools that we have, it uses LSTM or ANN tools, which even though works fine for like stock is a very volatile thing. You cannot predict it for a long time. So the current models that we have, it can predict it for like maybe 30 uh, the the most precise prediction that is there, it is only there for if you predict it for next 30 minutes or 1 hour. As you increase the duration, the its volatility increases, so you cannot predict much. So the current models uses ANN and LSTM models. For that, we use a very new technique that are kernel models. Usually, these models are very new. These have recently been used for some multivariate data, but it was not explored on stocks data, and the results were very quite good because it reduced the processing time by I think 20%, and the accuracy was much better than the currently existing model. So this project, when I left, I actually handed it over to somebody else. But this project, it's almost on the process of being up. I think research paper has been published on this.
Like, if I talk about machine learning, so what are the advantages of machine learning?
The main advantage of machine learning is that before machine learning, we used to do everything. Uh, like all of the things that we had to manually do all of things, and when it comes to machine learning, you train the machine to work in a particular way. So you feed the data to machine learning, and if the data is sort of similar, it can do the similar calculation and predict the values for other data set which it is not processed. So that is the main advantage of machine learning. You train the machine to do the task, and you don't have to do it manually.
Right. So, how do you rate your this interaction on a scale of say 1 to 10? One is a bad and 10 is the best one.
I think I'd say maybe 6 or 7.
Why? So, what are the like things you think that there was not good?
Uh, I think I've given some very good interviews. It was not one of them, but I think I might. There are some things about stocks and finance which I think I should look into.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and as I mean, this was a lot. The interview was in a lot of ways. It was very demonstrative. I found out that where exactly, like in the product, as you said, I knew about it. I had thought about it, but I never, tried to implement it. When Mr. Like Vipul sir said that as an engineer, I think of things as a product in a form of product, and as when you are going into manager phase, you have to think of it as something live, which is going on. So
Yes, yes.
I learned some things which I think can be helpful, which could have been improved if I knew it before. It would have gone better. So I think yeah, that was the reason.
Yeah. So basically, say one mismatch is as Vipul sir asked you about the FDI and FII, right?
Mm.
And you have recently done your this one project, which is a prediction of the stock market and everything. So all these are related. The movement of up and down for the stock market is majorly dependent on these value, like how much the money or how much is the inflow coming from the different countries into the India, and how much the India is going to invest in a different countries, right? So these terms should be like familiar with you because we are talking about a global economy and everything, right? Second thing, when you are talking about and when you gave your introduction, so you talked about your schooling, that is a 10th standard, right? You missed entirely your 12th standard. There was no statement, no discussion about your 12th standard. And then you started with like, I hails from Haridwar and I have done my schooling. I live in Greater Noida. See, when you're going for a system, this kind of technical interview for this qualification, higher education, just start with your recent, the most recent qualification, that is your engineering, right? So first come for the engineering, then talk about your projects, your assignments, your internship. As I ask you separately about to elaborate your projects and internships, right? So this is the time where you can divert, where you can have the control of the interview by emphasizing over your these projects and internships and everything. And in your this thing resume, you have written that you were appreciated by the vice chancellor of the Bennett University. Right,
Yes.
this is a one point is there in your resume. So during the entire discussion, like this will be a great thing for a student in a university, that if the vice chancellor is coming up and appreciating and gifting us some reward to any student, this is a great thing for a student, right? So this was not mentioned during the entire discussion, as Vipul sir was also asking what are your achievements and everything. So just please mention all these achievements. Okay. And when you're talking about, so you should be in a eye to eye connect, right? Sometimes when you are, as like people so was giving a overthinker, giving you a term overthinker, right? So you were looking upward, you were looking sideward, this side, right? So you should be straight, watching and looking in the eye of the person or the panel. Like here we are online mode, so you can look for the straight towards the screen, towards the camera, right? But when you are sitting in a person to person, face to face, so you should be in a this movement, right? Looking entirely into the person's eyes, maybe two, three, four, whatever is the number of panels. You should always look straight in the eyes of the panel members, not here and there.
So one more thing, you said that
Yes.
I did not mention in my schooling about my 12th.
Mhm.
So thing is, what do you think when we mention schooling, it gives the idea that it is only till 10th? Because I mentioned I did my schooling in Delhi NCR.
Mhm.
So do you think if have to, or is there a need to mention class 12 specifically, or same?
Yes, ideally, when you're giving the introduction, no? Because see, this one question, tell me something about yourself, introduce yourself. This is just to make the candidate comfortable in the interview environment, right? So when you discuss about yourself, you will get a confidence. First thing. Second thing, if you are saying like your 10th is from the DPS, right? Your 12th is from the Alcon Public School, your graduation is from the Bennett University. So this is giving me that this idea that yes, Shreya is a good candidate and she was scoring good marks because she is a student of good schools of the Delhi NCR, right? So this gave me the impression that this she will be a good student and the alumni of a good schools, right? In Delhi NCR, there are various schools. There are some schools which are in a low category, which are in a medium category, in a good category, right? But if you say you are a student from the DPS, you are a student from the Alcon, so this means what? You are scoring good marks, you are a good student, and your peer groups, your peer students were good, and you were having a good competitive environment. This is the reason you have a, so much knowledge and so much ideas.
Okay.
Okay, see, Mr. Ankur. Ankur sir is a very modest person. I'm not kind of that kind of a guy. I'm a critic. Okay, as a teacher, I feel as a critic, you can improve the things in a much more with a punching fashion, not in the Mr. Ankur mode, a loving fashion kind of thing. Okay, I'll rate out of in the scale of 1 to 10. I'm not going to ask you how you rate yourself. I will rate you around 2, close to 2. Okay, what are the things you should be learning from here? I always say that if you're in any journey, you should be very clear where you're heading to. Okay, and if you're sitting somewhere or you're going somewhere, you should know why you are sitting there and why you are doing that. So my whole focus, I would say, there are 3 main pillars of why MBA, why you, and why they should be very clear in your mind, which I felt you were not. Number 2. When I talk of the weakness and strengths, you should be very clear about it because you lived your life, okay? And you should be very humble enough to tell that these are my weaknesses. Reason being, I think humility is a very, 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 I would say, very precious and very, very rare, very scarce property these days. Even with a very minimal knowledge or even resources, money and all, people get to be very boastful. So humility is a very important feature where a straight away person should look at your eyes and say, sir, this is my weakness, I'm working on it. This is the things I'm going to do I'm doing into it or I have done, okay? So now coming to the main questions where you faltered was why MBA, why you and all, and even talking about the long-term and the short-term goals. I always tell my students to make the things very linear, okay? I just even want to add one more thing here. Education role is to make the things simpler, not to make it complex. Okay, keep that base in your mind. Okay, you may get educated, you may go for PhD, doctorate, research work, or whatever. The education, why it was brought to humankind, or what it actually do is it makes your life simpler, not complex. If you just like if you have to define a thing, don't try to make it a very bookish definition into it. Try to make it use rationality and logic, and you will have your answer. Okay. Going into a journey, you should know where you're heading to. That's a very basic thing you should know. Number 2, if you're taking a train to that journey, why you're sitting in that train, you should be very clear about. Number 3, if you're in that train, why you chose that train, you should be very clear about. Now the question is, if that question comes, how to answer that question? Rather than saying, after 5 years, I'm going to be 30-year-old, and after 25 years, I'm going to be 50-year-old, answer it in the skill set point of view. The point is, I'm sir very good in teamwork. I'm very good in motivating myself, but I have seen in my life, in my past, that I was not able to motivate my team members. I was not very good in delegating duties, sir. So now there are some things, blanks which are appearing, and that blanks, that skill set would be given by business school, and that your skill set, business school skill set will make your life in linearity with your long and short term goals. I'm repeating the whole thing to make it much more simpler. I have skill A, business school gives me skill B, and A plus B will give me skill set of C, which will help me get my long and short term goals. Simple and straight. And this is what education is. If anyone asks you what is a machine, don't try to give a very complex definition of Mr. Newton, Mr. Einstein, or whole into uncertainty principle of Heisenberg. Don't try to do that. Machine is to help human to do work. That's it. The role of education is to make it simpler, not to read it in books that how to sleep, how to eat, and blah, blah, blah. The point what I'm trying to say is, even in your answers, the things gets much more complex. Okay? And when you are, you only said, business school looks at, I will bring diversity of the point you said. But believe me, you bring no diversity actually. You are an engineer, a product guy, a nerd. Don't try to show that properties when you're talking to an interview panels. Talk like a smart, rational, and with logical points rather than putting a bookish definitions into things. Okay? Try to just see how a person will perceive an engineer as. Let's say you're going to the US market, how they perceive you. So please, that shackles of that, the way they are looking at it, you have to break that shackles. An engineer should be talking more about the EQ facet. That's diversity. As a human being, diversity, which you said, talked about the philanthropic work, in which you talked about helping your street kids, some poor people. This is which is bringing diversity. Actually, your computer science is not bringing any diversity. Yeah, Mr. Krish.
So Shreya, I just want to say one thing, like whenever you're talking about some technical terms or whenever you're asking some technical questions for that, like some could be like, as I ask you about the linked list, so obviously that will be in the technical language. But if anyone asks you about your projects or something, like as I asked you about the stock life prediction, so just try to explain that in a simple way, because everyone in the panel is not will not be a computer science engineer or will not be knowing the computer science language which you're talking about. Right? Try to explain it in a simpler way, which anyone, like whenever you will explain your project, so just try to explain it in a way like a normal person will be able to understand like what basically you did at that particular project. Like whenever, if you're talking about a stock prediction, also if you're talking about any of the project which you did, if you're talking about the projects which you are doing right now in the workplace also, so just try to explain it in a normal way, not in a technical way, in a normal way, like what you basically do in that. As sir was also saying, they try to bring the logic in that, like just try to bring out the things which you are doing right now. Like don't try to present it in a technical way or in all of these things.